Yeah, g'day. Welcome to the Field of Streams, where every week I, your host, Janeen McCrae, read a short piece of my writing to you so that you don't have to. Now, I can't promise you much with these, whatever these are, but I can promise you this. I won't keep you long. That's not a binding contract, but it's something I try to adhere to. Now, with that out of the way, before we get into my dramatic reading of my own writing, if this is your first time listening to this podcast, I should let you know that I like to do a little setup of where the inspiration came from, or just about the general theme of it in general, before we get into it. This one is pretty easy. I was reading about desire paths. Have you ever heard of them? Desire paths simply indicate the wishes of the people, and often these paths go against where the planners or architects of that space put things. How they would like to have directed people through the space is not the way that people move through the space. An example. You know when you see a curly-whirly footpath through a park, and those pesky humans are like, nope, I want to walk in a straight line to get from where to there. And so they cut across because it's the most direct way. And so many people do it that a dirt path is worn into the grass carpet that runs contrary to the actual concreted path or whatever it's made out of. They're usage lines, like organic, the path of least resistance. Desire paths, or desire lines as they're sometimes called, also prove that people will do what they want to do and won't always use things the way you intend them to. Some smart designers have clued into this, and when designing a space where a lot of people will walk, will wait and see where they walk before laying down the final walkways. Case in point, and I'll use an American example because I live in America, the University of Ohio's main lawn. There's a whole Reddit group of photographs which is, and I quote, dedicated to the paths that humans prefer rather than the paths that humans create. I'll put a link to that in the description. But now to the post. As you might expect if you know me at all, I began thinking about desire paths as they relate to your life and perhaps how you're pursuing your creative endeavours. But not in the sense of just ruthless pursuit of a desire, but in the sense of not being tied into the expectations of others, or even yourself. It's not too late to make your own way or get off a path that you feel is pushing you in a certain direction that just doesn't feel right. Desire paths are most often associated with shortcuts, and that's not really what I mean by them in this. I see them more as alternatives, like forks in the road. Your path to where you want to go doesn't necessarily need to be laid down by someone else. You don't have to follow the same path as someone to get to that place. There's always an opportunity to architect your own, or at least to try step off and onto the grass and find a different way there. That's it, that's enough intro. Let's get into it. So sit back, folks, relax, and allow me to read to you a piece of my writing called Go Your Own Way. Everything is written. Nothing is written. Our hands seem tied by ancient restrictions and condescending tut-tuts placed upon the hammers and the keys and the inks and the leads of our implements, upon the tools of our expression. Our languages, stamped upon the world in blacks and blues and all our cultural hues, wriggle in their straitjackets. There are the standards and the levels and arrangements and regiments, marked and set and sentence-cased and more, each consonant and vowel at attention in the line-up, eyeing a space for a comma, perhaps? Paragraphs transposed and thoughts em-dashed to a semblance of comprehensible, the order of the willing. This way home, set thyself upon this long-established path, worn and trod by so many who came before, and ye shall pass the grade and ace the test and navigate all fields of expression with ease. Stet, let it stand, footfalls punctuated by the sound of same, fences and boundaries to be respected. There is a yearning for what lies beyond, In our most dramatic moments, this structure feels a sad parental oppression, like an attempt to restrain the wild of our nature with small marks of order, things to give our expression acceptable form in the universe. In this style, in this shape, within these guides. To fit and slip through the world and out on the other side, one must conform. This is how it is done, how it has always been done. It is a good system, an effective set of instructions, obviously. Red pens and delete keys have saved many lives. And yet, is it possible to veer off and find a different path that gets you to the same place, but in your own way? Can you use language and words and punctuation and grammar and style and tone as a flexible blade to machete through the brush? Nothing is written. You can appreciate the weight and power of structure and rules. You can note on the chart the direction laid down before you, and still the dream of your story will find its own form. Write your desire path. Go your own way. Everything is said. Nothing is said. They tell you that you are not original. You are not the first or the last of the great orators to throw your hand skyward and wow the world with your script. Your words voiced to the air are not new or given extra weight as though spoken from atop a mount or a soapbox or from behind a lectern. They have been delivered already by those with minds far greater than yours. Even the themes chosen and the tone of the delivery. Done. The sing-song sound of your voice reverberating through the hearts and minds of the world, or so you think. Done. Expressed better in ways you cannot fathom, despite your many attempts to replicate. You are not original, and following the sound of their voice does not reveal your own. Mimicry does not equate to originality. Where is your voice? What have you got to say? Are these words? Is this expression your own? Hushed by doubt, you gag yourself to silence. It's all been said before. But what if? What if this is just not your audience? What if this is simply not your stage? Perhaps this is a case of entering into a theatre that was not designed for you. The door was open and in you went, and now you are reading from a script you did not write, mimicking the timbre and tone of others. This is why your voice does not carry. Look for the exits. These are not your words. These are not your people. Go off script and find your voice. Find your theatre with a marquee that celebrates your point of view. Voice your desire path. Architect your stage. Everything is heard, nothing is heard. This is listening minus processing, and the message fails to load. The path of understanding meanders, and you, along it, broadcasting and expressing and sharing and more. The active listen is inactive. You watch as the evidence gathers in the faces and body language of your audience, who appear to be waiting for a lull. At this point, having heard nothing, they will gleefully insert their personality into the void of your silence. Competition and crescendo. All voices converge on the path to become an uncomfortable fuzz of static and noise. No one hears anyone. All is din. Even when voices are heard, misunderstandings abound. Missteps, feet in mouths, trips on unfamiliar walkways as the message falls to the earth to be laughed at, or worse, ignored. And then there is the shushing of, the pipe downs and shut-ups, a message rejected by both canals, left and right. Thinking, the step between listening and reaction, is absent. It's straight to the most extreme with no inside voice between. Know everything, know nothing. See, say, hear. There is evil in it all. Everybody speaks and nobody listens. Change the medium, not the message. Stomp your feet to the ground and let them feel the thunder of that message, your message, reverb up through the soles of their feet and through their chest cavity to bypass ears and go straight to their heart. Adjust your desire path frequency to clear. Make sure they hear you coming. Everything is final. Nothing is final. There is no such thing as change. This is how it is, and this is how it works, and this is how it's always been. You will be judged worthy or unworthy, and there will be no change in who you are and in the expectation of what you can be from this day forth. Sometimes you think someone told you this. Sometimes it feels true. Stand here. This is your mark, and upon this mark you shall stand, and move from it you shall not ever. Now take this. In this envelope marked expectations are the blueprints and instructions for your life. Your lifeline goes from A to Z, and there is no alphabet between. You get the point. You begin. Your journey seems to be a solemn trudge along a road, bearing no signage for off-ramps to other worlds, other places, or new beginnings. There is no infrastructure. Your destiny seems random, based entirely on how you grew up or where you grew up or who you grew up with. Newsflash. Destiny is a con. Desire is actual. Desire exists in the blood and bone and sinew of your body. Desire rips envelopes and redraws blueprints, stating as it does so, "Forever is a concept with no eyes. Who has seen forever? Not one person." What this means is simple enough. Start your desire path anywhere, at any time. Control flails its arms in a free-fall. Wave it on. People tell you where to go and what to do, drafting us all as sheep into this lane and that. Duck and dive and wiggle. These are the rules you must follow. These are the places you must go and the things you should see. Trust this person, but not that person. Oh, and this is what you should believe. Exercise critical thinking. You are acted upon and act upon others. Consider those acts. The guidelines were laid out long ago. The pathway set in stone for you to follow, and with no one with the patience or curiosity to wait and see where you might go and what you might do. How would they know? Parents, society, surveys, even yourself. How would they know? How do you know? Guidelines are merely suggestions. It's easy to give up and blindly follow the roads of others. It's easy to believe you have no power. The world will try to architect you and your path your whole life if you let it. On the flip side, you will feel immense pressure to architect yourself and all your experiences and create a structure and a life and an order that is pleasing to the plan. But is it pleasing to you? It's good to have plans, but the best laid plans, like the best intentioned footpaths, can veer off and find their own better direction. With that in mind, remember, not all words have been written. All the saids have not been said. No one has heard it all, and final is never final. In other words, feel free to step off any path you did not make yourself. And there you have it, today's episode. I hope you are forging a good path. If not, step off. Find another way. Remember, I share these missives as a way of giving a glimpse inside my creative process, with a view of showing that inspiration can come from anywhere. And hey, if that's true, then why not go out and make something of your own? If you enjoyed what you heard, follow the podcast so that you never miss an episode, and sign up to read my writing at janeenmccrae.substack.com. But for now, I'll leave you with this. Love what you love, and I'll see you out there making stuff.